What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. So, Thomas the Tank Engine. It's a show, franchise, and fandom that's gone through a multitude of changes throughout the years. One of those being the change from a series using strictly models to a fully animated CGI thing. But how much do people really know about it? Don't answer that question, because I don't care. But let's begin with yet another wild banger on Let's Talk Thomas. The real beginning. Thomas and Friends only became a fully animated show in late 2009, but there were some good doses of CGI animation beforehand. And I'm not even talking about season 12, we'll get to that in just a second. I'm talking about the real first sign of CGI animation in the show. The new series learning segments. If you for some reason don't know, the new series learning segments were short educational videos usually appearing in new series DVDs and TV airings. I won't go too deep into it, even though that's probably as deep as I can get, but if you see my new series review, you know how much I absolutely love the learning. The animation was done by Gizmo Animation Limited, and the art style... wow. Okay, the art style for the learning segments, it wasn't bad. It was just simple, quite pastel, you could say, which is probably what was to be expected from the get-go. They started out as the engines puffing through a big blue void and then slowly got more 3D over the years. Nothing about the learning segments was too good, from the forced-ass messages and the bland-ass narration, but it wasn't too major and you wouldn't have had to see it on a regular basis, and... well, thank God for that. Now, before we start talking about the fully animated era of Nitrogen's animation, let's talk about Season 12. I addressed this in the new series review, but it was the beginning of the show's transition into CGI, with Nitrogen animating the people, animals, engine faces, and the rest being done with models. And the animation done in the season is honestly fine. I mean, the people are fine, the animals look fine, and the engine faces... to be fair, this was a first experience for Nitrogen, and while it's not horrible, it's not impressive in any sense. But it makes for a decent stepping stone and goes along with a pretty decent season. So now that we've covered Season 12, let's quickly move to the entirety of the Miller era. Fun fact, plans were actually made for several more model CGI seasons to come, but plans ended up falling through due to low finances and budget cuts. So Season 13 ended up being Nitrogen's first season of fully animated Balderdash. And it sure does show. The brand new art style is so plain, it gives a sugar cookie a run for its money. All you gotta know is if it's not the docks or some sort of station yard thing, it's green. It's all the exact same shade of green. And the lighting. Oh, the poor lighting. I mean, of course the animation got smoother over time, but the bland-ass textures and art style made it so visually unappealing, and you can't even blame it on mid-2000s animation. There were some shows slaying in the animation department in the time span of the Miller era. Now I know I've ragged on the animation for being trash, because it is, but in terms of actual animation, it still got better in the 3 years of its existence. So, in 2013, Nitrogen left the program. Needing a new company to produce the show's animation, the original solution looked to was Guru Studios. This company worked on popular kids shows like The Backyardigans, Just in Time, and Paw Patrol, and they were pitched by Hit Entertainment following Nitrogen's departure. But they were ultimately outshined by ARC Productions in the terms of Mattel's final decision. Now I can't find any footage of Guru Studios' Thomas and Friends animation, but these promo pictures show the rough style of what could have been. And... let me just say, we should all be glad this never had to have been. So there we were, ARC Productions had taken the reins of the series. And, well, they did something good. First off, there are more than 5 colors in their art palette, and the visual appeal of the series just went up, like, way up. And I'm only talking seasons 17 and 18. I mean, they still seem to struggle with the dynamic lighting, but it's a definite step up from season 16. Oh, but let me just talk about the show's peak in animation. 2015 to 2016. Man, wasn't that just a time to be alive. The animation stayed consistently good, but the visuals went up exponentially. The shadows were more dynamic, there were more details put into little unnecessary things. The lighting and the additives all make for such a visually pleasing time span. It took Nitrogen 4 years to take their animation from yuck to less yuck. But it took Arc just under 3 to make theirs from good to near perfection. It seemed like the show itself was at a pretty good spot, making good enough stories with good animation and good merchandise. Hell, it almost made you say, what could possibly go wrong? Bankruptcy! Yup, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Arc went broke. So out goes the Arc, in comes the jam-filled. Well, kinda. So, Arc and jam-filled are technically the same thing. When Arc announced retirement in late 2016, Jam-Filled Entertainment bought the company and later reopened it as Jam-Filled Toronto, rehiring most of Arc's ex-employees. And, well, they sure did something. Okay, so JBS does exist, and it always gets clowned on for its animation, but it only really has like 3, maybe 4 eye-grating scenes. But then everything after it... Okay, so season 21. While it's not any season 20 or 19, you know, it's still got some good animation. But every BWBA era season has some overly average animation. The lighting and the shadows have all seemed to stay the same, and the animation, don't get me wrong, it's still good. But it's the scenery I can't get down with. It's just so plain. And that's it. I mean, Thomas goes legit everywhere. You think maybe the scenery would at least be decent, but no, it goes back to nitrogen level plain. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are more than 5 colors that are used, but the scenery, or lack thereof, really takes away from the animation and the dynamic lighting. It's a bit of a rough patch from the show, and this unfortunately carried on until the end of season 24. And now there's this. Fuck this. So, in the grand scheme of things, the Thomas and Friends CGI animation, well, it was an experiment for the ages. It started off shaky, ended off shaky, and ultimately killed the show. But the good that came with it, and the good few stories I was able to go alongside, made it seem like not a massive waste of time. Damn. This video just came together a lot quicker than I thought it would. You know, I thought I was going to put off Let's Talk Thomas until maybe March or even April if I really wanted to push it, but here we are. So thank you guys for watching my stupid videos and giving me motivation to keep making them, because that's pretty cool. First video of the new year, so pretty lit as well, I guess. But yeah, as always, I don't have anything left to say, so I'll see you when I decide to upload again.